Technological developments and human curiosity augmented by determination have led humans to explore various incredible parts of the globe. However, despite the technological advancement, there's a lot we still haven't found. Our planet is home to some mind-boggling and mysterious places and phenomena no one has been able to explain, not even the genius scientists and academics of our time. Gaining access to these places may lead us to astonishing discoveries. These may include monsters hidden in the jungles and ancient cities lost in the Amazon rainforest. Today, let's venture into the wilderness and discover various unique aspects of life. Some of these will mesmerize you, others might creep you out, so sit tight and watch till the end. But before we get started, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe and click the notification bell for more such amazing content. Ankikuni Lake. Canada is a vast country that has immense frozen tracts lying in the wilderness. This area is known as tundra, which makes the people crazy. In 1930, Joe LaBelle, a fur trapper, was hired to explore the wilderness of the countryside. He tripped around Ankikuni Lake in the northernmost areas of Canada called Nunavut, which is the least populated area, having only 39,000 people. While looking for pelts, he encountered a small Inuit camp. He found the campfire smouldering and pots of stew placed on the top of the flames, but nobody was around in the settlement. There were empty tents, half-finished food bowls, and a not-yet-sewn cloth. It seemed that villagers had been there quite recently. However, he could not find a single footprint of a person having moved out from there. To the utter disbelief of Joe, every grave in the area had been opened and emptied, whereas headstones were neatly stacked besides the graves. Horrified by this, Joe fled and didn't stop running until he reached the nearest sign of population. At his request, local police searched for the missing villagers, but it still remains a mystery. Probably the villagers might have left on their own wish, and snowfall must have covered their footprints. Mist trees. You may have heard about curved forest located in Poland. It's a grove of pine trees that have a strange bend to their base, pointing towards the north. Reportedly, the trees were planted in the 1930s. After about 10 years their planting, some unknown power forced their trunks to bend. Some locals believe that it's a result of strong gravitational force which pulls the trunks towards the ground, whereas others think that during World War II, tanks passed over these trees when they were just saplings. Some people also attribute it to aliens. Well, there are cases where humans cause bending of trees purposefully. Native Americans are known to bend trail trees for marking their routes. Therefore, some people opine that these crooked trees in Poland might have been bent by humans, as at that time curved wood was used for constructing ships. Les Loyons. A tiny Swiss village called Boggler had been in the news for reports regarding the presence of a cryptid in its wilderness for a few years who was known as Les Loyons. Locals have reported him as tall, resembling a human, seen stalking in a boiler suit, a dark cloak, an old-looking gas mask and wandering without any direction or purpose. Footage dating back to the 10th of April 2018 claimed to capture the mysterious monster. Although the quality of footage makes it doubtful, irrespective of the time, it is claimed that he wears the same outfit every time. Police search Le Loyon but has never been successful. He seems to appear deep inside the forest and is often seen by stray walkers. Some fear that under the suit there may be some alien instead of a human. Ancient aliens? Cave paintings have been a source of information about our ancestors. Handprints, animal pictures and portraits of hunting persons are commonly found in caves. At places we find puzzling pictures of mutant animals and humanoid figures. Probably such artwork had been a result of over-imagination by the artist. Some people believe such artwork to be proof of extraterrestrials visiting the ancient Earth. The depictions of Wandjina in Australia are considered to be one such example. These are part of the sacred culture of Aboriginals. The Wandjina paintings are found in the vicinity of Kimberley, which is a wild and isolated area of the Australian coastline. Appearances of aliens in modern media have close similarities with the depictions found in Wandjina. Perhaps Wandjina had used metaphorical interpretation of natural forces. Cave art found in other parts of the world also resemble these. For instance, cave markings discovered in Chhattisgarh, India, resemble quite closely the bulbous-headed aliens depicted nowadays. In the USA, the head of the Sinbad is considered as native art depicting an alien figure. Impossible colours. All mysteries are not scary. In 2018, a redditor, while walking with his girlfriend in the woods, discovered a body of water in the swamp which seemed to be fully filled with rainbows. Some commentators believe that this display of colours may be due to natural oil spilled from the cones of cypress trees falling on the surface of the water. Oil refracts the light which is reflected to the eye by the water underneath. This rainbow water is quite safe to swim in if you're planning a visit. Wilderness Wanderer. Helenise Vidigal, a police officer, has been patrolling around the Amazon rainforest in Brazil where she was assigned in 2010. For her, the strangest thing was witnessing a skinny Canadian walking down barefoot on a dirt road leading deep inside the jungle. When she reached him, she found that he was without a passport and could speak neither Spanish nor Portuguese. Meanwhile, Stefan Pilipa was worried about his brother Anton, who had disappeared in 2012. Stefan received a phone call from the Brazilian police officer who answered his questions about his brother. Anton had travelled over 6,000 miles through 10 different countries while heading to South America. It's surprising how he managed all this. The motivation for Anton to go through this hardship turned out to be his desire to visit the National Library of Buenos Aires in Argentina. Perhaps due to his mental illness, he surrendered to the idea and headed on foot. He ultimately reached the library but was turned away for not having an ID. He then began his journey back home again on foot and on the way encountered the police officer Vidigal. Mystery Line. This spot in Tennessee represents a real-life optical illusion. It seems that a constant line passes through the trunks of all the trees visible as far as one can see. The location is known as Sinking Pond. It's a body of water that's filled with rainfall from winter to spring and subsequently dries during the summer. For most of the year, trees remain partially submerged. When the water dries during the summer, the submerged parts of the tree trunks are exposed and there's a distinct line dividing the two parts. Swamp Ghost. A group of Australian soldiers found a ghost deep inside the swamps of Papua New Guinea in 1972. It was the remains of a World War II aeroplane known as the Swamp Ghost. The aircraft was intact and the fate of the crew was a missing link. Subsequently, journalists interviewed the plane's engineer, Clarence Lemieux, a 90-year-old veteran living in Spokane, Washington. As per him, before the crash landing, the aircraft encountered 3 to 4 tornadoes, a hole shot by Japanese combat aircraft, and finally, it had run out of fuel. It crash-landed and all the crew members remained safe. They walked through the forest and managed to escape death when rescued by members of a local tribe who transported them on canoes. However, the aeroplane was left there and was found almost 30 years later. Frozen in ice. Antarctica is the 5th largest continent in the world. During winter season, almost 1,000 people live on the continent despite the severe cold, the temperature falling as low as minus 126 degrees Fahrenheit or minus 88 degrees Celsius, and winds blowing at a speed of 199 miles per hour. People staying in Antarctica are mostly scientists conducting research. In 2013, a group of researchers working on Cape Evans found a box of 22 undeveloped film photographs buried in the solid block of ice. They developed the photographs and found amazing pictures and meticulously preserved images of an Antarctic expedition conducted about 100 years prior. It's believed that the images are of Aurora, the ship that explored Antarctica between 1914 to 1917. The main ship had sunk and the persons on board were left on ice struck in a blizzard, and they travelled for 720 miles on lifeboats. They finally reached the nearest island in South Georgia. Blue Woods. Some people have been discovering unnatural blue-looking plants in different parts of the world and sharing them on the internet. These trees have blue-dashed trunks and sticks filled with blue material. Mycologists solved this mystery. Mycology is the study of fungi. The blue branches are the result of a fungus known as Turana caerulea and also called cobalt crust or velvet blue spread. The fungi are not harmful to the trees. There are over 100 species including Texan's caerulea. As much as we hope that these mysterious blue plants were a new species, it's just a fungus infestation. People of the forest. While walking through the woods, the feeling that someone is watching you makes the situation awkward. These humanoids may turn out to be statues, as a lot of videos on the internet have proven. One Redditor discovered this strange box in the woods. It was supposed to be an extraterrestrial object. Another web user found this impressive wooden archway, probably constructed by bending the tree to restrict the growth of the tree. One Redditor was frightened to find this ghostly figure in the forest while hiking. These one-of-a-kind woodland installations are called Rob Mulholland's mirror sculptures, found in the Scottish wilderness. These statues reflect the woods around them. The ghostly statues are intended to explore humanity's relationship with nature. You can find more humanoids like Nagato Iwasaki placed all over Japan. Similarly, in Des Shorter Park Forest in Belgium, you can find yourself in a fairyland surrounded by wood sculptures of trolls and giants. These mysterious statues are the works of Thomas Dambo, who creates art from recycled wood and other discarded materials. Lost City of the Monkey God. The discovery of ancient cities like Machu Picchu and Teotihuacan in Mexico reveal a lot about the old civilizations. They have abandoned temples and attractive artifacts such as a mask found carved out of the mineral serpentine in the Teotihuacan's pyramid. It was used in mysterious rituals. Inside the Honduran jungle, there's a legend about a wealthy city that was lost. It is said that the residents used to eat food off plates of gold. This civilization is known as La Ciudad Blanca, the White City, and the City of the Monkey God. Tales about this city are circulating since the 1500s, and explorers have been venturing vehemently in search of it. In 2015, a group ventured into the rainforest region known for deadly serpents, jaguars, and violent drug cartels. They found ruins of an ancient city in the jungle. It was covered by vegetation and contained pyramids, temples, and sculptures, whereas the art depicted jaguars, villagers, and monkeys. A local legend narrates that the villagers fled away after being cursed by a disease inflicted on them by the monkey god. The adventurers felt sick and were found to have contracted a flesh-eating parasite called leishmaniasis. They had to rush out to get medical treatment. Hole in the woods. Users on Twitter were surprised when they came across this image. One Twitter user commented, "The hole isn't scary. I'm afraid of what created it." Reports indicated that the hole was created by a Swedish visual artist named Antti Laitinen. He predominantly works with nature. It was part of a project known as Broken Landscape. It was based on cutting segments out of trees for creating strange, unnatural scenes. He's also famous for making a rather unique painting in which he used his own sweat as paint. Isle of Horrors. A true but mysterious crime story took place on an isolated island. In the 1940s, the Countess of Arran owned an entire 86 acres of the isolated Inchconnechen Island in Loch Lomond. She also had an immense love for exotic animals, wallabies who populated here after World War II. Presently, there are 60 wallabies living on the island. Photographers flocked to the island for photographing the strange Australian wildlife. In 2017, a mysterious incident took place. Visitors found that a large number of wallabies had been killed and the bodies were spread all over the island. The crime was probably committed during the night. The motive behind the crime can be linked to the fact that wallabies are an invasive species. Their presence on the island has altered the ecosystem, and their presence was encroaching over the food of the native capercaillie birds, causing the population to hit dangerously low numbers. Some locals had called on the government to take away the wallabies to protect the ecosystem of the island, and sadly, before the authorities could take any action, some infuriated person took the law into his own hands. Did these mysterious discoveries motivate the adventurous side of you to pack up and set out on a new journey? If yes, then make sure you subscribe to our channel and give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to tell us which of these places you'd like to visit first in the comments section. See you all next time. Goodbye.